Hi everybody, welcome back to Dusty Betty. I'm Tess and I'm here with my husband Steve from the YouTube channel Hardtail Party. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about my decision to try clipless pedals for the first time. So I've been riding mountain bikes for about 5 years and I think I'm finally feeling like I'm ready to own the decision to try clipless pedals. I've just had some experiences riding lately where I just think, being able to have like that nice circular flow pedaling would be kind of cool. And I just feel like it's time for me to have that experience because I hear people who've experienced both and I don't know what that's like. So I want to give it a try and see for myself what I think about it. Steve has kind of been telling me for a couple of years. He's like, you could try this anytime. Like you're at a point where I feel like you can handle this. Definitely when I was first starting out mountain biking, I just thought that is just one more thing that like my brain can't handle. When you first start riding mountain bikes, riding single track, just keeping on a narrow trail is difficult, let alone like I was still getting used to shifting and braking. I was pretty new to riding and stuff like that. So I'm glad that I waited, but I'm not saying that you have to wait 5 years to try this. That was definitely a personal decision. So my husband Steve has a lot of years, 15 years on clipless, and then he did about the last 5 years on flats, and now he does a little bit of both. So you've coached a lot of beginner riders into mountain biking. What are your thoughts on when is a good time for someone to try clipless pedals?
Good
or maybe
question.
when it's not.
This is a hot topic and I'm going to offend someone unintentionally. It's a very personal decision, and what's great for one person may not be great for another person. I think it all comes down to why you're switching to clipless pedals. When I started riding in the early 90s, there was so much pressure that no one directly put on me, but you see all the great riders had clipless pedals, and so there was this pressure that if you weren't riding them, you weren't serious about riding, or you were a beginner or a novice. And so I remember when I got my first pair of clipless pedals, I felt like I'd graduated into adulthood, and now I can be taken seriously because I have clipless pedals, and that's the wrong reason to do it. There were other reasons I upgraded, but I think it depends. Like, if you view yourself as a pure performance athlete and you want the most performance, clipless pedals are going to get it for you. If you're doing it because it's how you get out and enjoy nature and you don't care if you go 5% faster or not, or there's a fear factor there, or you're newer and you're not ready to it, there's no pressure to switch. You don't need to. And it makes me sad when a lot of people pressure either for or against clipless pedals because it's a personal decision. Like you said, I knew you had the skill years ago to do it, but you weren't ready, and so we didn't push it, and I waited till you were ready. And it's fun to try things, but I don't want anyone to ever feel like I'm less of a rider because I'm not on clips or anything like that. I'm of the mindset that you can really learn some good foundational, fundamental flat pedal skills, and that's good to do before switching to clips, but I know there are other people who completely disagree.
Yeah, different schools of thought. I think you brought out something that's a really good point. And a lot of it may have to do with kind of your mindset and your goals toward your riding. Like if you're very goal driven, maybe you do some racing, or maybe you don't and you're just really driven that way and it's something that you want to do sooner than later, cool. I think I'm a little more lackadaisical about mountain biking. It's something I do because it brings me joy and I like to chill, and I don't I'm a little less that kind of recreational athlete, which is totally okay. It's just kind of a different personality, but yeah.
If you race, definitely wear clipless pedals. There are performance advantages all over the place. I like to work more on skills and bike control and wheelies and jumps and stuff, and being on flat pedals unlocks some skills that I couldn't unlock on clipless pedals. That's not to say you're the same as me, but yeah, I've got a whole video on this topic that goes way down the rabbit hole if you want to watch it.
Yeah, we'll make sure that when that's available that gets linked to this.
But yeah, I just recommend being real comfortable on the bike to where you're not scared on the trails you're riding. You're not having to think about which brake's the front brake and which brake's the back brake, and oh yeah, I should be using my dropper, and am I in the right gear, and where am I looking? If those things are still going on in your head, this is just one more thing to worry about. And I don't know, you learn them quick, so it's not the end of the world, but I've seen a lot of people that, in my opinion, switched too early and never learned good foundational techniques, and it shows in their riding. And most flat pedal riders can ride clips really well, but most clip riders cannot ride flats very well. I ride both. I love them both, and I see pros and cons to both. But my favorite coaches all coach on flat pedals, and the skills they teach are flat pedal skills. And that's where I developed. 90% of my skills were on flat pedals. And then clips just make up a little performance advantage by being able to pull up and move the bike a little bit easier. I feel like there are more advantages to be had building your foundations on flats and then switching over. If I had my own mountain biking school and I could kind of set a final exam for flat pedals before you go to clips, I would have people be able to bunny hop up a curb with flats. I would have them manual 5 to 10 feet and wheelie 5 to 10 feet. All things which you can do. Because I think there's definitely skills to be learned in the scooping of the pedals, in the rear wheel lifts that don't require your feet being attached to the bike and things like that. And I'd probably have them ride some skinnies. I'd have them do jumps. I'd have them do drops so they get those foundational techniques. And once they're comfortable with those, we'd switch to clips, and I'd let them decide what they want to do best. But yeah, a lot of these schools teach flat pedals. And I should also say, if you do, when I say flat pedals, I mean flat pedals with really good shoes.
Yeah.
Because flat pedals with Skechers or flat pedals with your trail runners, they might feel good to you, but I would argue that there are a lot of skills you will struggle to learn with those as well. You want sticky shoes that are going to give you full control over the pedals.
And with good pins, because sometimes if you're someone who's on like an entry level mountain bike, a lot of times those don't even have like little metal pins in them.
So we don't treat all flat pedals as equal because there's such a huge difference. We're only talking about flat pedals with metal pins like these. Both of these pedals are under $23 on Amazon. We'll put a link in the description below. And I run these all day long. And then I'd buy some $100 shoes that are meant for flat pedal riding that are super sticky. And our favorites are Ride Concepts and 510s with the stickiest rubber you can find. So that is what I mean when I talk about flat pedals, not just any flat pedal with any shoe. There's a huge performance advantage to having true sticky rubber on the sticky pedal. So you waited 5 years. Why'd you wait so long, and how do you know you're ready now?
It doesn't make me as anxious to think about it now, is all I can say. I tend to be a pretty timid rider, like I'm amazed the comfort level I've got with certain kinds of obstacles now that I never really even thought would be approachable to me when I first started riding. So that's really cool. And I think, I'm just one of those people who it takes me a while to warm up to things. And if I'm going to do it, I can't just feel bullied or pressured into it. I have to kind of have peace and calm and feel like I have ownership of it and not like I was just like pressured or guilted into it. So, I mean, it's kind of, that's just kind of how I work. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel like I'm ready. I've just got peace about it. It feels right. The time just feels good for me. So, yeah.
She has excellent bike control still. She's track standing. She can bunny hop. You're not falling over on the trail anywhere. You have tons of confidence. You're totally ready for this.
Stay tuned because this is going to be an ongoing series. The next video, stay tuned for that because Steve is going to talk to us about setup for cleats and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Get dusty.